Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alaracanfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today, my good friend Kimberley Lovell is here with us, and we're going to be talking about creating your greatest future self-progression. We're going to be talking about accessing our multidimensionality with quantum hypnotherapy. We're going to talk about past lives, future lives, galactic lives, creating your greatest future self-progression, and so much more. We're going to be doing a journey as well, and taking some live caller questions. And for those of you who don't know Kimberley, she has been on in the past, but not often. But she's a really good friend of mine, a personal good friend of mine. So it's like, I'm always happy to have her on the show whenever she has time to come on. But Kimberley is a transpersonal psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, intuitive business coach, master theta healer, spiritual channel, and teacher. And she has over 30 years experience empowering her clients and students from all over the world to connect with their intuition, heal their unconscious blocks, and embrace their true power and genius. And she utilizes quantum healing tools such as theta healing, access consciousness, and quantum hypnotherapy to support you in connecting with your soul's purpose, passion, power, and prosperity in creating the life and business of your dreams while sharing your gifts with the world. So I'm so glad that you're here with us, Kimberley. And because, you haven't been on very often, and I can't remember when it was last time, can you just take a few minutes and just share a little bit about who you are, your journey, how you became to be, this wonderful, powerful healer and medium, and all the wonderful skills and tools and gifts that you have. Can you just share a little bit about yourself first?
Sure, yeah, I'm just checking my volume. Okay, little anxiety check. So yeah, hi everybody, I'm super excited to be here, and yes, it's been a while, so I'm so happy that we're doing this show. So gosh, long time ago, so let's just put it this way, I started my spiritual journey when I was 22. It's 30 plus years, and it was due to a tragic suicide in my family, and that sent me on my spiritual pathway. I ended up in a spiritualist church, very quickly learned I was a medium and healer, which made a lot of sense. Wasn't crazy after all. And from there on, all of my work has been, I've always had kind of like my job work back in those days, and I also kind of worked as a medium and a healer, and went on as a counselor, hypnotherapist, trained in lots of different modalities, worked with lots of different client groups. So I had a really rich kind of like training background very quickly, at quite a young age. And so it was kind of a progression really, from stepping back as we do from our day jobs, loved my clients, but kind of didn't have that freedom to be able to work in the way I wanted to. So finally being able to kind of be free and just do the work that I love to do in the way that I love to do that. Yeah, which doesn't always fit in with the systems, does it?
That's true. Wonderful, thank you. And as I said, Kimberley is a good friend of mine. We talk all the time, even though recently, just because of everything going on with Robert, I haven't had as much time as I would like. But in the past, we've been constantly chatting and talking, and so I'm glad that she's here, and she is really gifted and talented, and so I'm so glad that she can share some of her gifts with you all today. But we are talking today about a few different things, right? So we are talking about quantum hypnotherapy. We're talking about creating your greatest future, right? And future self-progression. What does that mean? So let's talk about that first. I mean, I always talk about, create your greatest life, create your best version of you, etc. But what does future self-progression mean, Kimberley?
That's a great question. So, well, let's talk about what past lives and future lives are, first of all, and let's talk about like who we truly are. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there are many people here. I expect everybody here kind of has an awareness of this. I know you do some amazing work in this area as well. So we are spiritual beings having a human experience, obviously. We are multi-dimensional, which means that we exist on several different planes of existence and different dimensions, and there is no time other than on the 3D dimension, right? And so what that means is there are multiple selves, all right? And more and more people are becoming aware of this now, or they've had an idea, concept of it, you know, I've known this for a long time, and yet it still kind of blew my mind, and I have a deeper understanding of it, and that understanding is always growing, right? Because we have some amazing sessions and experiences that come out of that, you know, so we're always kind of like learning and kind of like deepening our understanding. But essentially, we, you know, some of you may be aware of guides, and sometimes they may be other beings that are guides, and they may also be aspects of you. Okay, so when we look at galactic lives, for example, those could be aspects of us. We might have a Syrian aspect, or a Palladian aspect, or a Lyran aspect. We may, or they may be guides that are coming to work with us. And we have soul family and star family in different dimensions. And our past and our present, everything really is parallel. So if you can kind of get your head around that.
Everything is all happening at once, with all
it's all
different
now,
aspects of ourselves,
right?
with all different, you know, potentialities of our existence. Is all happening at once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go into the quantum physics, because Spirit are always trying to give me information that's quantum physics, and we're like, I know what you're getting at, but like, I don't really understand it. But I kind of get the energy of it. But they, you know, they give me bits and pieces from. Keep trying to show me things, and they're in, you know, like, I'm like, okay, so you show me that, and then you show me it from a different angle, and that's okay, got it.
Well, and
So,
that's the thing,
you know,
we're always growing in our understanding, right? We're always expanding our consciousness and our awareness. So some things, you know, may resonate with you right now, and some things you might think, oh no, that's crazy. But you may, you know, it may become more of your reality later as it sinks in, or you get more awareness, more understanding.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, if it doesn't, if it's over your head, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You're going to gain a lot of insight, I'm sure, this evening, and everybody will receive something. So so yeah, so there's no time. Everything's kind of happening now, and so, you know, a lot of people heard of past life regression, right? And you know, the value of that, and again, people work in different ways with it. So some people go back to a past life and, oh, you know, you have a fear of water, and we go back and, you know, you drowned, and so therefore that's why you've got the fear of water. But they don't actually do anything with that past life. So some people do that. Other people, like myself, will work with that and resolve that. And we can gain all kinds of things from past lives. So we can go back and we can resolve things that are, you know, going on in this life, and the root is in the past life. But also we can go back and we can regain and reclaim our power, and other lifetimes where we've had, or other experiences, should we say, really, where we've had other gifts that we don't have available to us in this lifetime. And so we can go back and we can retrieve those gifts. Now, what we need to do is also make sure that that lifetime is kind of like we clear up whatever needs to be cleared up. Because sometimes there's you know, there's good things about it, and sometimes there's not so good things about it. So there may be, let's say, there may be persecution beliefs. We don't want to bring those forward. We want to clear those. But we do want to bring the gifts and the abilities forward, yeah? And so we can go there and pick that up and change that, and we can bring that into now, and then we can also carry that forward into another experience, lifetime, into our future, right? So that's kind of how we're working with the past and the present and the future. And then we can go to the future for different things. Again, you know, lots of times we talk about being our best self, creating our best future. We are always changing, and so the reason that we're experiencing what we're experiencing now is because of our thoughts and feelings that we've had, right? And it's like 3D is a little bit like jet lag, isn't it? Heaven help us when we all get kind of like constant 5D, right? And then we'll have to be accountable for, you know, for everything. But it's like we've got that grace, which we sometimes moan about, but there is like a jet lag. And so, you know, what's happening now, you know, don't worry too much about what's going on now. Keep focused on what it is that you're creating, right? Your vision and who you want to be, because who we are now isn't going to get us to our next level. That future self that is doing something different or having something different is also being something different. And so as we go into the future self, we can go and connect with the future self. We can gain insight and information. We can embody those qualities that our future self has. So if, for example, we've got fear and doubt and anxiety, we can go forward, and the future self that's got what we already want perhaps is, I don't know, it depends on what you're working with, but they could be slimmer, they could be more successful, they could be more confident, they could have the relationship, that you don't have right now. And you can ask them for information to find out what they did to get there, right?
Yeah.
And then you can kind of reverse engineer. So that's one application. And then there's also to go into the future and to ask about, or to see different ways of working with this. If you've got this decision to make and you're not sure, what's going to work out best, or which one's the one to go for, you can actually go forward and you can see what happens if you take that path, if you make that choice, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's like the future's not laid in stone, all right? We are creating it, even though it is there, right? Because the future self that's there now is the future self that we've been creating up until now, right? And often people would come, years back. I don't do as many readings now as I did, but people would come and they would ask about their future, and my viewpoint on that is always, well, we can have a look. It's a probable future. It's not laid in stone, because a lot of people think that what's in the future is what there is, and all of that. And of course, everybody wants to hear something nice, right? They don't want to know that, well, if you keep going as you are and you don't change things, things will probably be pretty similar. Right? And my thing is always about, well, let's create the future we want to create, not like, well, it's not like fate and there's an element of that, in terms of we have our soul contract and what we set up to do whilst we're here. And so as we move into our future, there'll be things that are our divine timing, or what we've contracted and decided we wanted to experience. But there's that room for maneuver. We've always had that freedom and choice to create and change our mind and create something completely different. Yeah.
But it's not just about changing your mind. It's not just about saying, okay, this is what I want my future to be, and then not do anything. You have to still take action, and not just once. You have to continually take action for that future potential probability to become a potential, and then to become actualized.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about manifesting, and I talk about manifesting a lot, and it is manifesting. And there is, the energy work that we can do with that, which definitely changes things. Mm-hmm. And it's changing them on, often on those subtle realms, those higher realms. And so there is still a jet lag, even though we've created it in that dimension, it needs to come into the 3D, right? So it's not physically here yet. And then the trick is to see beyond what's here, right? And feel into that energy of what it is that we're creating. Because I can very easily go into, like everybody else, kind of like have my 3D days, and I'm kind of like, oh, it's not here yet, and it's not going to happen, and it's like, okay, cancel that. Let's just go and have a look. What do I need to do? But it is aligned action. Yeah. Once we have our vision, we put things into motion. We are actually creating. We're always creating. Yeah. Often it's like when you grow a plant, like a carrot or something. You don't pull it in, keep pulling it up and seeing how big the roots are, do you? But we kind of tend to do that mentally.
But you do water it, and you do pay attention to it, and you do,
and
have
it's
gratitude for it, or whatever. I mean, like we were just planting in our garden, or Robert was planting in the garden, right? And I'm like, oh my God, these roses, because I had some roses, right, that somebody brought over, and they were, now we put them in the actual ground, and it's like, oh my God, they look so beautiful, and it's like, just that appreciation, is going to make a difference. And then watering it and letting the sun get to it and whatever, that's how you create, right? Mm. I mean, that's a small example of
that's a great example though, and I'm totally with you on that. I mean, we grew some veggies last year, and I grew them by seed, and it's just such a joy. It takes a long time for the seeds to come up, right? And it's like nothing's happening. And in our reality, it's like we want it all now, don't we? Instant.
Yesterday.
Or quick. And sometimes it can be, when we clear beliefs and all kinds of things, amazing things show up really quickly, and energy shifts. But other things take a bit longer.
Yeah. So it's a combination of things, right? It is about visualizing what you want, declaring what you want, and doing the clearing so that you can have it. And at the same time, surrendering to the divine timing of it as well.
Yeah.
I don't
And
always like
taking
that
those
myself,
actions.
I'll be honest. I don't always like the whole divine timing thing, but it's like, that's just my childish nature coming out, but
Well, yeah, I think it's an interesting one, divine timing, because sometimes people use that and say, oh, it's not my divine timing. It's like,
sometimes it's
it's
just an
all our
excuse.
divine timing for something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which it might be to rest. That might be our divine timing in that moment, right? Now is the time. Take a break. But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful process, and it can be used in lots of different ways. So you can manifest and create your future. You can look and you can kind of do, some people call it path work, where you kind of go in and see what's showing up if I do that and I do that. And if you look at, the parallel lives, that's because they're all parallel, really. So people usually kind of think about past, now, and future. And then when we talk parallel, it's like, oh, hang on a minute. And then if I say simultaneous life, what does that mean? So simultaneous lives. So we've got all these possibilities, and probable lives are on different dimensions. And then if we kind of, I don't know, you might sometimes have like 100 doors open, all these ideas that are coming in, and do this, and this. And so there's a part of us that's kind of living that out, right?
Exactly.
But if we then close that door and we say, okay, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm focusing on this, it's kind of like, well, I don't know actually what happens to that bit. That's true. As much as I don't know. But it's like that, we're not putting any more energy into that, right? And so this is where we're focused. Perhaps it still carries on. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it, to ask them? But I know I had, over the last year, I did something like over 40 hours of sessions for people for past lives, future lives, life between lives, galactic lives, and we had some amazing journeys. I put a few up on YouTube. I've got a lot more to upload. But yeah, and so in one of those sessions, somebody had a glimpse of a parallel life that was a sort of simultaneous life. So in this life, it's in this day, in this time, and she saw another life, living in a different country, different gender, completely different, personality. And what was interesting was she got to kind of send energy and contribution to that self, right? It was like she had resources that he needed. And maybe, it's possible that he could have resources that she needed, right? And so how much of that goes on an unconscious level, because, we're connected with all of it, right, on some level, even though we might not be conscious of it. And so it's kind of fascinating, isn't it? When we kind of, it can be quite overwhelming, really, if you think about it. We talk about oneness and we're all connected and we all nod and say yes. And, some people get it at that conceptual level, other people got it as an embodied kind of reality, but it's massive.
Well, it's funny. I was just doing something like this with myself just a couple of days ago, where I was talking to all the different aspects of myself and asking them to contribute, to me now in this reality, in this lifetime, in this moment, because they are all available to us, right? So I was asking them to contribute their energies to me so that I can continue to create my life in a bigger way or whatever. So it's interesting to have, and this was before you sent me the info about this call. So I was like, oh, we were on the same wavelength.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it is amazing, kind of like what shows up, in sessions, and so we'll have kind of a little play with that later on, like a little taster. But yeah, I mean, what if we talk about is. There's so many different applications of it, really, because I've worked a lot with people who've had illnesses, and in trance I have seen a client that was paralyzed, was in a wheelchair, and he was on a training course, and when he was in trance, there were like 2 or 3 of us kind of like sat on the floor holding his feet, and he was in this process, and he was quite angry. And he was kicking, the strength that he had in his legs was amazing. He certainly was not paralyzed whilst he was in trance, right?
Yeah.
And then when he came out of trance, however, who's back in the wheelchair and so forth. It is amazing. Our minds, our bodies are so amazing. We're only kind of tapping the surface really of what's possible, and trance and these processes are just phenomenal for, even that brief moment, when he knew he was aware still that what was going on.
Yeah.
And yet when he came out, his legs weren't working. It was a training. And so I'm guessing that, if he'd have done some more work with that, he may have had, or if he carried on even, I don't know. Yeah. But it was so amazing to see.
And the thing is like, it's a possibility for him to not be paralyzed, and it's a possibility for him to be paralyzed. And what is he choosing, right? So he's choosing to be paralyzed. But now that he did that trance session, now he has the awareness of, oh, it's possible that I don't have to choose this anymore.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, why would someone choose that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. And when you say like, well, he could choose something else, well, maybe and maybe not. Mm-hmm. Because when we say he, often when we say, well, I could choose something else, it's like we're referring to I, the personality, right? I, the ego, whereas it's really our higher self and our soul that is choosing those experiences. Right. And it may be that there's a very good, usually is a very good reason why we're going through something, right? And so if we're not learning or we're not gaining what we need to gain from it, we don't complete it, we continue with it. And so it might be that, I know I've argued with things in my life sometimes. I'm like, I'm done with this, I don't need this anymore. And it's like, well, clearly I do, because it's not changing and I'm clearing all these things. But it's like, okay, what are we learning? What are we gaining? Like, often we gain virtues and, so I could be having one experience, right? And another aspect of me could be having a completely opposite experience, So you could have a really successful aspect and then an aspect that's like really struggling or had health issues or like, really had money issues, and the other one the opposite of the spectrum. And all of those learnings come back to that soul.
Yes, that's true.
And so yes, for sure, we clear and we can change things. And, I'm guessing there are some things that maybe might not change because it's serving the soul. And, the higher self is here to experience and to grow the soul. So
it's important for us to ask what is it that our soul wants to experience with this situation or with this experience, right? What is it it's wanting to learn and experience, right?
And we can negotiate with the higher self, with the soul, because, it may be that there's another way that we can learn that.
Yeah.
Right. We might have spent, quite a long time in a situation, and then we're like, really? Well, now we know all that, and we know what we're learning from it. Can we, like download that into every cell of our body? Can we anchor that so that we have that now? That lesson's finished, and let's do it. Let's learn a different way.
Yeah, and with more ease and grace and whatever.
Exactly.
let's be clear about how we want to learn it. Not just like let's learn a different way. Yeah, with ease.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the soul has got an idea of something we're here to learn, right? And it's like the personality has been through all the conditioning in this lifetime, and so it's learning in such a convoluted way, and it's like, no, you don't have to do it that way. You can do it in a much more fun way.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Awesome.
It's all good. Soul doesn't care, you see, how we learn it. It's like do it that way, or you can do it that way.
As long as we learn it, yeah. As long as we gain the wisdom, the understanding,
the qualities.
Absolutely.
Just our challenges do build our character, right? I'm sure there are other ways to build our character. But,
I was gonna say, I think I have a pretty good character.
Yes,
it's been built up quite a bit in this lifetime. I think. I don't know. There's still some issues. All right. So we have lots of people with their hands raised. Okay. So do you want to take some questions?
Yeah, sure.
This will be fun. All right,
Please
Linda, you yourself. So you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat, but we'll see what, I don't even know what people are going to ask. Go ahead, Linda. I can't hear you. We always have so much fun with Linda and her microphone. We can't hear you. No. Why don't you type it in the chat and try again later? Yeah. All right. Caroline.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi.
I'm a little bit confused about what to create in my future based on the chat that you just had, as to creating what I want, because I've been at it for 18 years and it's not manifesting, versus manifesting versus soul path. I know what I want, and I know the patterns that I'm still stuck in.
Mhm.
So from here, there's almost like not a hopelessness, but somewhere around there, like, what's the point of manifesting anything if my soul path is already set? Because it seems to be set.
Yeah. So, well, it's not set in stone. Your future's not set in stone. Your soul path, any agreements that you've made are not set in stone. So I said we can negotiate. So the way to do that would be to align with your soul. That's kind of like, it makes for more ease, right? Because we can try push, and it's not happening. And then if we kind of get a bit more clarity or inspiration and guidance from our higher self, and our purpose.
I'm going to stop you there for 1 second. So
Go
some
ahead.
of us, including Caroline, have been doing a lot of work on ourselves. We are quite soul aligned. We get information from our guides, our higher self all the time. So we are quite connected, right? And so we're getting the messages, we're getting the information, but still there seems to be like, it's still not working the way we want. So Caroline, I'm like,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So like, what is that? But you can ask, right? It's like, ask the higher self. So why is it taking so long? What is the story here? We've been working on this for however long, right? Surely we're done. So one of the things that you said, Caroline, was you kind of felt this energy of despair. Is that a familiar energy? Is that kind of like a...
Okay, so that's where we're going. Okay.
When I'm just asking.
Yes, yeah, that's been part of my soul path, despair and hopelessness.
Yeah.
Suicidal thoughts and all of that, and all the lower energies. Although I also function very well in the high energies as well, and connectedness.
Yeah.
But yes, it like Alara said, she has known me for what, 20 years now.
Feels even longer.
I always add 10 years every time I say it.
But Caroline, you're not the only one. So
yeah.
No.
Yes, the answer is yes, Kimberly.
The only reason why
There's a few sections of my life that are, I feel a bit of despair. Yeah.
1 sec. The only reason why I'm pointing this out is that it's not just Caroline. I'm sure there are lots of other people who have wanted to create something specific that they have not been able to, and they've done all the work. There are lots of healers and intuitive people on these calls. They've done all the work. They've, been to many healers, like they've done everything, and it's still not. And I know when I say, and they've done everything, I stop myself saying, okay, they're obviously not everything, because there's still something, but there still is that block, or there's still that it's not coming. Like, what else can people like us, I'm going to put myself in the same quote, same category, and Randy, same thing. What else can we do? It's like,
yeah, well, count me in, guys, right? We're all human. So nobody, well, I don't know anybody who's got the perfect life, right? And it's got everything. And that's the nature of our reality, isn't it? We're always growing and learning. But yeah, I get it. It's frustrating at times. And so so I would look to, because you mentioned, and I don't know whether I misheard you or we meant to say it like in that way. So you said, when I'd said about it could be changed, or something about that it's not laid in stone or something, that brought up the despair, right? But it's like, it's not necessarily that brought it up, it's that's familiar to you, right? And there's no judgment here, but you know what, the thing that prolongs the agony, and I've done this myself, I do it a lot, right? I'm not perfect, is that I can very easily, when things aren't going well or things aren't happening, I'm a full body empath, and so I pick up so much on the environment. It's so real that it's like a brick wall. I cannot move through it, right? And I can, I can meditate, and I can, tune in and ask and blah, blah, blah. But then it's just like that energy and that vibration. And it's like, how do you change that? No, we can master that, right? For some reason, who else has done this? Who else has got this thing where they get frustrated, or they get the despair, and then you just get stuck in that emotion. And often it's just the very familiar emotion, right? It's like that pattern that's so deep and entrenched. I have had so much resistance in my life, when I'm going for things. My body sometimes has a lot of intensity and resistance, and I tried all sorts of different things, and then sometimes it's good, and then sometimes it's like really bad. And but I noticed that, if I look back in my early years and things that I experienced, some of that is locked so deeply into my nervous system, right? And so sometimes it feels as though there's no progress, or limited amounts of progress, and we still don't get it. But I do believe that sometimes that's part of what, sometimes we have the most ridiculous beliefs and how it's serving us, like it keeps us on our spiritual path. As if we weren't suffering at all in any way, shape or form, then we wouldn't do our spiritual work. No, that's really not likely to happen. But we kind of have these crazy beliefs that keep it,
So basically what you're saying is it must be some sort of belief that is in the way of us actualizing, manifesting what we desire.
Well, yes, not must be, but very often when I work with people, and because you work with people as well in that way, we all have, right? If you're work with people, we see these patterns, right? And we know that we're no different. We have our patterns, and yeah, it's really annoying. And then so when you speak to your higher self, sometimes the higher self.
So do the patterns ever go away?
Do they ever go away?
Or do they change?
Well, if both, right? So they can change. Sometimes they don't go away because somebody's changed one pattern, but they haven't changed what's holding that in place. And so take an example like an addiction. You could change, being addicted to alcohol, but the addiction might pop up in another way, right? Because it's not actually about the addiction. It's about maybe the void or the emptiness or whatever it is that's creating the symptom of the addiction. And so sometimes it's quite challenging, and we're working on not the wrong things.
So, so I am an empath as well. So when you said void and emptiness, I felt a little sadness come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And often we avoid that emptiness, right? That sadness or whatever that is there. It might be sadness for you, it might be anger for other people, it could be anything.
When you say avoid, you mean not feel it? Because I feel everything. That's yeah. Well,
yeah.
But I'm okay. So
we don't want to feel that emptiness. So sometimes people. So here's the thing: we judge everything, don't we? We judge ourselves. So when we're in this situation, I judge myself dreadful, and it's like I should know better. I've done all this work. La 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 la.
I should have lost the weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but what I have noticed, and I know this is said a lot, but I've noticed it, is that if I let go of that judgment, because that's the very entrenched pattern as well, right? So it's like if we're making ourselves wrong, and we're making it wrong that we haven't done it yet, then it's kind of like adding to it, isn't it? It's just like we load it all up, and then we're carrying around more of the I'm no good, and no.
But aren't we carrying that? I feel like I just saw like a spiral, like. And like we're going around in a spiral all the time. So everything that was just said, we feel it, we accept it, and then the situation comes up, and then we're back into that spiral, and then we hire another healer, and then we do another session, and then we do another. So it just seems like
never ending.
Maybe that just is life.
Okay.
That's why manifest? Why try to manifest our future? We're in a spiral.
So, okay. So,
well, when we're in a spiral, we're never in the same place. It's not a circle. There's the difference between a circle and a spiral. So a spiral, we're in a different place. We're a different person on that spiral, right?
Yeah.
One. And it's bringing up a lot of energy, isn't it?
Yes, I'm just looking for something to land on.
Yeah. So tell me what you want to land on.
Answers as to why.
But how will you feel when you have the answer?
Oh, well, then that's clarity, and I know what path to take, and I know what my future holds, and I don't have to wonder if I'm going to move. I don't have to wonder if I'm going to have enough money. I don't have to wonder. So it feels like being a human is just a whole lot of wondering and hoping, but always staying in the same place kind of thing, and just getting older.
Well, I'm sure you've had lots of adventures on the way, right? So you could reframe it as a mystery tour. I know what you mean, Caroline. I completely get you, right?
Yes, yes.
And I don't have an answer for you, as in this is what you should do. And I think that, you know, it's also about being okay with being in that uncertainty and not knowing, because we so much want to go into our mind and we want to understand it. We want to have the answer. We want to know what to do.
We want to be right. Yeah.
How can we be safe even in that uncertainty, even in that not knowing? How can we let go of needing to know and having to do something, and having, because that's kind of like quite a lot of control energy, right? Like we want to control our lives.
Of course.
And then if our lives were controlled, we'd be moaning that we're limited and they're controlled. We want the freedom.
But can you do it down?
I'm going to say one more thing and then I'll let everything go. So if we don't control our life, why is there all these programs out there saying, do this session and then we'll let go of this and that, and you'll become this and you'll create that. And so that's all not true then.
I wouldn't say that.
So I'll be done.
What I would say is that, you know, there's a lot of energy on it, and other people, you know, like I have a lot of energy and intensity on stuff when I'm in my thing, and when we clear that, you can, like, our mind is the monkey mind, isn't it? Monkey doesn't, I don't think the monkey goes away. It may do when we kind of a bit more in 5D perhaps, right? But I mean, right now it's like the monkey mind is still there. We're kind of like, you know, we haven't lost the ego yet. The ego's dying. It's going to be thrashing around. It's doing its best, you know, and it's insane. Yeah. But in the heart, we go into our hearts, and I know you know this, right? If we go into our hearts, there's peace, there's joy, there's stillness, there's everything we could ever want, right? And we can see things, we can experience things, and we have that peace. And if we have that peace and that gratitude, I know Alara's amazing with the gratitude, right? And I need to be much more active in my gratitude practice, because like things are like, and I'm like, oh, right? I'm like, no, be grateful for the rubbish as well, right? But it's like when we're in that space of neutrality, of gratitude, and just being open to, well, that's interesting. Like, you know, what else is possible? You know, we say it, but like actually feeling it.
Yeah.
Going, okay. Right? Because for me, it's so easy to go into, oh.
But do you ever just like, at some point, do you ever like say, okay, you know what, this hasn't manifested in 20 years. I've cleared a lot.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. So this is the thing.
Like, you know,
well,
like
I would talk with my higher self and say, look, is this my ego wanting this? Is this happening? Is it something that's gonna take time? Or, you know, I have a friend at the moment who's in a situation, and she was asking me, oh, will I move, and will this happen and the other happen? And she can see, right? I can see her pattern. She can see her pattern. And I'm like, well, she said, well, should I just give up and do the thing that I don't want to do? Right? And I said, well, like wherever we go, there we are, right? And it's like about how we can be at peace with wherever we are, because usually we're trying to avoid something, or we're trying to go in an opposite direction, and then we've got that internal tension somehow, you know. It's like our unconscious doesn't want to keep us there, that wants to move forward. But is it our mind, because we think that's what we should be doing? Because a lot of people manifest from their mind, and I've done that, and I still do it from time to time. You know, I kind of put something out and I'm doing something, have all these great ideas, and it's like, no.
That's a good point. Is it your mind, your ego, or is it really something that your soul wants to experience, wants to create? You know?
Yeah, and sometimes it is a tweak. You know, I was playing with some stuff today, and also it's like, I know I'm still learning patience. That time I learned it, but I found myself getting all het up with something that wasn't going right, and then I thought, you know, that's actually just creating more of that. And so I just completely surrendered. I was like, right, fine, maybe I won't do that then. And then when I let go of it, it started flowing again.
Yeah,
it is a struggle for me.
Sometimes our attachment to our desire, what it is that we want, also locked.
Yeah.
right in place.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably, I can't tell you a story off the top of my head, Caroline, but I'm sure that you know some, and other people will, that, you know, there are people that have spent years creating something, and then, you know, maybe it manifested when they were like, I don't know, 80 or something, you know, or later. And there are all the people that we know that have been amazing geniuses that have failed their way through things, you know.
Yeah, they failed, and then finally.
And then they also created lots of different things as well, because they didn't give up, they kept trying, isn't it, you know? But I know it's so frustrating. I'm very impatient and I want things now, and, you know,
yeah,
and I want the flow.
but I think the difference is whether it's your mind, your ego, or it's your higher self and soul that want to create whatever it is that you create. And
I'm not connecting in every day and asking, you know, and I should, right? Like on business or whatever, certain things I know I'm on that, and I have to check in. I just will ask, say, okay, do you want to do this? Do you want to do it that way? Yes, okay, fine. But, you know, I know I can be doing more of that.
Yeah. So
we like to take control,
Caroline, and everybody else.
I think let's run something.
I just said I hope that helps a little bit.
No. I love you though.
Shall we run a clearing on all of the energy that's brought up?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So let's ask that everything within you and outside of you that's holding that in place, and everything that is underneath all of that, let's ask that can be cleared. And let's ask our higher self and our soul energy, let's ask for that to be more present with us on a daily basis. Let's ask that invitation for our soul to come in and be clear with us and support us and guide us. Sometimes as soon as we get quiet and peaceful, I just notice such a shift in the energy. It's like in that moment we ask, it's like the soul's coming in. And it's very still and quiet, and it's like all that has gone. I don't know if you experience that, Caroline, but as I'm calling that in, that's what my experience. And the information that I'm receiving is be still. Be still. When we're in that stillness, that clarity is there more, and things change. Everything is shifting. So we want things to be certain. We want to go down that path, stay on that path, and we want to know exactly what we're doing, right? But if we were going on holiday, we wouldn't mind a little mystery tour and an adventure, but not in our life too much. Yeah, but things do shift, so they will give us information. And even when spirit world are coming through and they're giving quite amazing information, they often don't get the timings right. If you've ever noticed, very often they're not too great with the timings. Things are happening soon, or they'll say a date and it may not be exactly, you know. So it's kind of just about, I think it's beyond all of these questions we have about what we're here to do and what we should be doing. Is about what brings you joy, what feels like. If it makes you miserable, then do something else that makes you joyful, and that automatically switches the vibration, and then sometimes the other thing shifts. And if not, then just follow that path of joy and lightness, because life, you know, we know that we have lots of lives and we're eternal infinite beings, but, you know, like, make the most of it. It's like, if it's not working and you've done whatever, if it's too much, then maybe there's something else.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, if, you know, this is not for Caroline, or it's just generally, if you've been trying to manifest or create something for a long time, and each time you try and think about it or take the next step towards it, you're not in a joyful and light place, it's going to keep staying stuck, you know. I just got that.
I got something else that's just popped in. Interesting. It's to do with the future self. Let me just grab it back. It's gone out again as I started talking. What was it to do with? Yeah, so and I'm sure you are, Caroline, and many people on this call, I'm always in the future. So sometimes I've created something and it's like 5 years too soon, right? And so it's not happening. And then I'm like, okay. Things that I channeled 30 years ago are happening now, right? We've been waiting for these times. A lot of us, if you've been on the path for a long time, you've known, yeah? And so it's like, we could have got fed up. I kind of dismissed some of it, to be fair. I was kind of like, well, that's not happening. It's like, here we are 30 years later, and okay, maybe this is it now. That's what it was all about, you know. So I mean, yeah, but time's not real. It's all now. So it's like the blink of an eye, not to us in the 3D.
Yeah.
But if we let go of that need, I have a real thing with time and space, as I know many healers do have as well, in that we can get frustrated because we are on these different dimensions. And so it feels real, it feels like it's happening. We're in that flow, in that moment, on whatever dimension, and yet in the 3D, it's still not showing up, you know? But we're existing on all of those dimensions. So maybe I would speak with your higher self. I would also go and speak with your future self and see what your future self has to say around that. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Thank you. And so Linda was asking, oh, sorry, go ahead, Caroline.
I just said big love. Thank you.
Oh, big love. And I'm sure that's helped lots of people.
Absolutely. Linda was asking, so how can we be more aware of another aspect of ourselves? And so my question to you is, why do you want to be more aware of another aspect of yourself? Like, let's go to Kimberley. That, you know, you also have to look at your motivation for the question. Why do you want to know? Is it just curiosity, or is it because you think that, you know, some other aspect of yourself can assist you in you creating your future life? Go ahead, Kimberley.
Oh, well, I'm going to ask you the same question. Is it in the chat or live?
Her microphone wasn't working, right? So.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
That's why I was asking the question because like.
Oh, okay. Come on, okay. So, whose question is it?
Linda. So how can we be more aware of another aspect?
Okay, got it. Right, okay. So well, we can journey, we can go into a theta brainwave, we can go into hypnosis trance, we can connect with another aspect. It depends on, you know, if there's an aspect that you're aware of that you want to connect with, or if you just want to connect with a future self. You know, a question that I often ask is like, if you could go into the future, or if you could go into the past, like how far back would you want to go, or how far forward would you want to go, and why? Like, what is it that you want to know? I asked this on my Facebook recently, on my business page, and it's really interesting, the answers that people gave. You know, some people wanted to go 5 years and some people wanted to go 30 years. And, you know, if you were going back, your 5-year-old self, you know, what would you tell your 5-year-old self? And what would your 5-year-old tell you? Or what would your Egyptian priestess tell you, you know, that's relevant in this lifetime and for the future? So yeah, I would same as Alara's asked, I would be curious about why you want to connect with that aspect. Sometimes people do it because it's just curiosity, and that's cool. I kind of some days I stopped doing past life regression because I had a lot of people who did want to come just for that reason. And to me, it's always been about therapeutic value of it, rather than just curiosity, interest. Having said that, people have you know, they have an experience and they're amazed, and that puts them on their pathway. So it's all good.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be spiritually snobby. Nowadays, I'm not really bothered because it's usually such interesting stuff that comes up that their mind's blown anyway. It doesn't matter if they're just curious, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, why are you going? What do you want to know? Because we want to go, if we're going forward or backwards in time, we want to know why we're going. It's like almost like setting the, you know, on the sci-fi films where they set, you know, or playing where it sets the degrees and where it's going. It's like, for what purpose? And so what is it we're looking for? Because if we went back, we could have any number of lifetimes backwards or forwards, right?
Yeah. But
like we might go back to a lifetime where we had healing gifts, or where we could walk on water and we could do miracles, right?
Exactly. But yeah, in some sort of journey, you could do it in meditation, talking to your higher self,
another way you can do it. Sorry, Lara.
It's okay.
Another way that you can do it is that you could journal, right? And that works for some people. It depends on how you go, because your mind's, you know, you can write and just kind of like see what comes in. Sometimes you might need to write for a little while, and then all of a sudden the writing will change.
Yeah, for
some
sure.
of you might just be able to do it straight away. Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be a fun exercise, but you want to have an intention, you know, like your intention, because I'll be honest, I don't want to see an aspect of myself where I was murdered, or I was a murderer, or anything like that. It's like, you know, like, I don't want that. You know, so it's like, I would rather, you know, something similar to who I am now, but just, you know, something slightly different, you know, just so I can experience maybe something else, you know, at the same time. You know, just opening up your awareness and consciousness, you know, can be helpful. Okay, Patricia, Pat, you want to unmute yourself? Pat, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Alora. I mean, you've answered a lot of my questions.
Good. Awesome.
Awesome. So I see each day as its own experience. And, you know, I feel very off balance, like, you know, all that. And I think it's the energy and what I'm going through. My dream states are amazing. And I'm guided. Yes, you're in many multi-dimensional worlds. And I'll be dreaming I'm back in laboratories, or I'm doing in a different relationship. And it's amazing. So
yeah,
perhaps what I'm going through, I have to feel my emotions and my feelings. And then I get my guidance and I'm told to rest. You know, my body needs to rest with the energies coming in, affecting me on different levels, the human residence and all that. But yeah, it's a journey. And I know I'm always protected and supported by my team, my spiritual team. And I love Alara's show. She's just wonderful with her energy and her wisdom that she shares with all the groups that come on her show. But so I can connect with different aspects of myself to help me heal this physical condition. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, like Alara was saying, contribute to, you know, because they're different experiences.
Yeah.
There are, you know, there's transferable skills, there's energetics, you know. Same as you can work with your ancestors, you know.
Yes.
Our ancestors have got, some of them have got good genes, some of them had great kind of characters, didn't they, that we can kind of tap into and bring forward. And
yes, I felt that too
in our body. Yeah. Yeah. I also wanted to say, I know, I kind of feel like, you know, I could say this, and I know a lot of you know this already, and there may be some people that don't, but, you know, because we are, those of us that are healers, you know this, we're tapped into the collective unconscious. So a lot of the time, what we're actually feeling isn't even ours, right?
And I agree with you that I've been told that this is not you. You're experiencing something in the collective field.
Yeah.
And so I just breathe in the violet light and try to, you know, clear my space and send it out. Yeah. I do a lot of that kind of thing too.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people have taken vows to be like surrogate healers, or to, you know, heal the world. Good luck with that one. It's not so much fun. But, you know, if you clear the vow, then you're at choice. So you're not 24/7 on, do you know what I mean? And we always have that choice to say no.
Yes.
Right. But there's a lot of energy on that. I'm still feeling like tingles in my arms. So it's like, I kind of feel like there's energy shifting as I've said that. So hopefully that'll create more reads for everybody. But yeah, it's just asking, like, whose is it? Because I know I was in a state the other day with something and I thought, you know what, I'm really sick of this. And that's not a good thing to say, right? It's like,
it's not mine.
Create more to be sick of, right? And so it was like, but really. And then, you know, I don't know what it was exactly that I cleared, or, oh yeah, my friend said, it's good, isn't it? We do this for other people. I'm doing this for other people all the time. She said, is it yours? I'm like, yeah, I've had it since whenever. Was in my story. And then she went, is it yours? And I was like, no. I was like, right?
Yeah, and sometimes
not mine, but I've made it mine. It's so easy.
Breathe through my heart and send love to it.
Yeah. But it's so easy just to because it feels so real, right? I mean, it is real on some dimension, but it isn't actually physically ours, even though, you know, I'm sure you've all had these experiences. You know, and also I want to talk about this as well, so if I remember both threads coming in. Right, so, you know, we're going through all these changes with the planet and with the human resonance and everything, and we're also going through a lot of ascension symptoms now, more so than ever. And also there's that going on in the collective. A lot of the collective are going into dark night of the soul. So there's a lot of even healers that are, you know, really like base chakra stuff's kind of coming up. There's also a lot of memory of other times, right, of the fall, right? And so that brings up a lot of fear and anxiety. So a lot of people have done a lot of work and suddenly feel like the rug's being pulled out again. And, you know, and look at what we've got going on. It is crazy making. It is traumatic. Yeah. All this uncertainty for so many people, and so that's a huge challenge, like how we can be with that. So that's that. And what was the other bit? Maybe it'll come back. What was I saying? it'll come back if it needs to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that collective thing. It's what's going on. A lot of people, like I've had dizziness, and I've never had it before. Waking up in the morning, thankfully not during the days, but the room's spinning, just rolling over in bed. There's apparently crystals in the ears. Like,
yeah, I don't have the dizziness. It's just like when I get up and walk, it's like an off balance, lightheadedness kind of thing. And I try to ground with the earth and wear crystals.
Yeah.
You know, I do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Each day is different. And sometimes by the end of the day, I feel more balanced.
Yeah. So like, for me, it's like I'm having to have much more, and I have to remind myself or be reminded by friends, you know, to have more allowance in my body.
Yeah.
Right, because we easily make it, I'm a healer, so I shouldn't be having this in my body. I'm creating it, so what is it that's creating it? Well, do you know, we're in 3D reality, and this is where we're at right now, and so some of that is not a wrongness, so don't make it a problem. Don't judge yourself that you created it, that your body's having it and it shouldn't be having it. That just brings more resistance and more angst and tension.
And that's my guidance. Give yourself compassion.
Yes, because we give it to other people, right?
Yeah, and so to my body and to what I'm going through, and then like tomorrow or the next day, I'll feel totally different and just welcome and grateful. And I'm very grateful at the end of my day. And I tell my body, I love you, and I'm very grateful for you. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Our bodies are amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing. It's a journey.
I would continue, but Pat, I would ask the question every day, is this mine or
yes, exactly.
Don't just automatically assume it's yours.
Yeah.
And that you have to do something with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, thank you.
It's so easy, but write it down somewhere, because you know I have them written down sometimes.
We forget.
Like I teach these things and I'm still having, you know.
Yeah,
no,
we
it's not
always
mine.
ask ourselves. It's like,
I know what I was going to say. I've had experiences where I was, what did I have going on? Something going on where I wasn't very well for like a couple of days, and then I phoned my parents, and my dad told me my mum had something, and it was what I had. Right? It's like, okay, so that wasn't mine either then. So physical. It's like, yeah. How many times have we had like injections for things or medication for something that wasn't even ours, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you. Much love.
All right. I'm going to go back to the, hold on one sec. We're doing this. Suwala. She says, how about what some people say? You can change your subconscious by repeating certain thoughts for 21 days, and then you'll be able to manifest what you want. You can change your reality by changing subconscious thoughts. You can change your reality by changing your subconscious thoughts, but you still also have to take action. You know, you can't just change your thoughts and poof, you know, like it's not just one clearing. It's not just one belief that you're wanting to change. You know, usually it's many, right? And go ahead, Kimberly.
And you have to be that person, right? It's like, you know, what should we use as an example? If you're anxious.
Sorry?
If you're anxious, let's say, and you change a belief that was connected with that, then you have to be the person who does some things differently.
Yeah.
You know, like you might need to take more self-care so that your nervous system can kind of, you know, unwind, and you might have to kind of work with that for a while because it's been in the body and it's been in the, you know, the muscles and the cells and the whole of your nervous system, right? Sometimes we can have instant healings, and they can create changes, but it's like we still have to give more support to the body to integrate those changes. Yeah, and we have to choose different things. Like if you're somebody who's, you know, a workaholic, I can be sometimes. If you're somebody like that, it's like you have to remember, look, you know, take a day off, go and have a walk, then you can come back to that, right? And you have to be disciplined. So the thing is, when we have these beliefs running, we kind of don't do that. And when we change the beliefs, then we're actually able to do the thing more easily, but we still have to do it.
You still have to do it, and you still have to be aware, you know, like if I suddenly started saying something like, you know, I'm slim or something, because I'm not, it's like, I'm slim for 21 days. Great, I can say it, you know, but I also need to take different actions. Maybe I need to drink more water. Maybe I need to walk more. Maybe I need to eat something different. But I also have to be, you know, my intuition, my awareness is going to start to give me different signals, different insights, different information, because I'm starting to change my thoughts. So you have to be aware of those too, and then take action on those.
And the other thing is that, again, we just look at symptoms, you know. So, you know, there are lots of things around, you know, take the weight, right? I'll join you with that one. I think I put on a stone in lockdown. How does it get better than that? You know, it's like we have to take the action. We have to be the person that is not saying, like, every day. If you've got an issue, you're probably telling yourself that same story every day, so you're reinforcing it. If you know, I personally think affirmations can be useful if they're in present tense. What I would say would be like, I am becoming slimmer. Here's the thing, if you use an affirmation, usually what will happen is your unconscious mind will come up and say, that's a load of rubbish, don't be ridiculous. So there's always a tail ender to it, you know, because then there's a conflict between, I want to be this, but I know I'm not. I'm going to say it and then I will be. But the thing to ask is, like, how will you feel when you are that? Yeah. So when you actually have that in your life, how will you feel? And then if you actually be that energy of feeling, maybe it's like you feel more confident, or you'll feel happier or more relaxed, or you won't worry about what people might think of you. Well, if you actually have that now and you be that now, then you can be happy now. And then the happier you are, probably that will affect the other stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're working on one thing, but that's not really the thing. It's the other thing that's beneath it.
There's always more than one thing. It's never
everything is connected, isn't it?
Something else. So Ella, go ahead. I think you're unmuted.
Yes, I agree what you said, what Kimberly said, I would say. But sometimes I get confused, because some people say you can manifest what you want. You have come here to make your own life, create your own life. So that's one side. Okay, I am a manifester. I want to manifest this. And I go and do things. Work. Like Kimberly said, alcoholic. Yes, I work a lot sometimes. And I'm not getting the results I want. Why is that? Why am I not manifesting this when I'm working so hard?
So it's not just about the doing, it's about the being, right? So that's what Kimberly was talking about. You have to be the energy of what it is you want to manifest and create. It's not just the doing, right? But go ahead, Kimberly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we have so many.
At the same, I'm sorry. At the same time, when, for example, let's say I'm repeating, I'm slim, like you said, right? And at the same time, my mind says, no, you're not, because you're doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
So here's the other side, it kind of conflict. It's a confliction, right, in between the two sides. Now, which one do I do? Do I push myself because I am a manifester? I have come here to create the life I want. Or do I listen to the other side of my mind says, you're just lying to yourself. You're nowhere. You're not getting anywhere.
So the voice that says you're lying to yourself and you're not getting anywhere, is that a benevolent voice? Is that a kind voice?
Mean voice.
Yeah. So you fire the mean voice, or you say, thank you. I know that you care for me. Thank you for your care and concern, right? And then you choose for you. Usually it's like an introverted voice that we've taken on, you know, from maybe a critical parent, or, you know, if we've got those perfectionist tendencies, and we can kind of do that to ourselves, right? And so it's coming from a place of fear and anxiety. Your higher self will always speak to you with kindness. You know, it might kind of like, you know, it might be a bit fierce and stern, but it will be loving and kind. It won't kind of like be mean or bitchy to you, right? And the thing that you were saying about the contradiction, sometimes we see it as this or that, and it's not about a contradiction. It's not one or the other, it's both. So what I would say to you is that there's something about creating more space. Like, I'm very all or nothing. I don't know whether you're similar, Suela, but it's like, you know, nature. I got given this I don't know, a few months back, a big thing around it actually. It went on for a couple of days, but I was getting frustrated and I was pushing and I was doing a lot, and I was in my mind a lot, and, you know, I was probably quite stressed, really, giving myself all these things to do, and was taking on a lot of stuff to do. And you know, what if it could just be easy? What if it could be just flowing, right? Because if you've decided that success is a lot of hard work, and then you're working hard to get the success, you'll always be working hard to get the success. But if you enjoy the moment and you're able to take time off and rest and relax and all of that, then, you know, when you get the success, it will be easier to get it, and it will be easy when you have it, right? And what I was shown was nature and the moons and my ancestors, and what it was, they were showing me like farming, and they were saying that there's cycles and there's seasons, and we have that with our moon cycle. And I've never really been, you know, kind of like been into that as much, but I mean, there's definitely, when you're growing the vegetables, there's the planting, there's the seed stage, there's the germination, and then there's kind of like the blossoming, right? And then there's still more and more to grow before you can actually harvest and reap the rewards. So maybe look at your patterns around how you manage your energy and how you manage your being and your doing. The masculine and the feminine energies, balancing them. Yeah. Manifesting, sometimes, the way you said the word manifesting as well, seemed quite masculine, as though it's a very action thing. Yeah. So it's being, and sometimes less is more. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hopefully that.
Now the universe just
Yes, thank you.
Good.
You're welcome. Great question.
So keep doing, but also be the energy of what it is that you are creating. Who do you need to be to create that? You know, who do you need to be as that creator, right?
And what will happen when you are successful? How will you be then? Do you think you're going to work really hard to get the success, and then you're going to relax? So if I'm really successful, when I've got all the money, then I'll relax and whatever. And you probably won't, because we get into these habits, right? So relax now.
Yeah. Really, I hate working that hard. I really don't want to work hard, and it shouldn't be this way. I hate it.
So as soon as you go into you're into.
I don't believe you.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda is all judgment, right? Instead, it's like choosing for you what lights you up, makes you feel good, makes you feel at ease, right? So, you know, like I go through phases too, where I do a lot of work, you know, because it's time sensitive, right? But then I also take time for myself, you know. So I'm so glad now that we have where we're living. I can go for WALKs a lot, and our yard, our courtyard is so beautiful now. It's like, how did we get so lucky? You know, it's like total privacy, you know, and we can sit there and enjoy the beautiful weather. I can still work on my computer when I need to. I can look at my beautiful flowers and my roses that are coming up soon, etc. And it's peaceful. Except for like the birds are always chirping. Oh my God. I don't mind the birds per se, but the flies and the bees are driving me crazy. But the thing is, it's like it's calm and peaceful and relaxing. So I do take time to do both, right? But then there are certain times when, you know, I gotta push it. I gotta do the work, you know, because it's time sensitive, and then I can relax and take it easy. So I do both. I take it easy and I work hard, and I enjoy working. You know, so some of us, we you know, I do enjoy working. Makes me feel good, makes me feel productive, makes me, you know, like, I don't know, just I like it. I think I'd be bored if I wasn't, you know, working. Right? So
yeah, it's just do what works for you.
So balance and letting go sometimes. Yeah, balance and letting go, but also always connecting back into who you are and asking, you know, do I really want to do this? Is this what really lights me up? You know, makes me feel good, etc. Okay. All right, we're gonna go to Destiny. You have had your hand raised for a while. You want to unmute yourself?
Hey, Alara.
Hey. Hi.
Oh my goodness. Holy smoke. The last few days I have been under like intense attack. And it's really strange. What I'm noticing is almost like it sounds like a tape or like a default playing in my mind. Like I'm thinking thoughts, my own thoughts, and all of a sudden I get these thoughts that I would normally think, but they no longer resonate with me, but I can hear it in my mind like a default.
Okay, so what's your question for Kimberly?
I guess I'm just wondering what the hell is going on, and if there's some way that she can help me find some relief.
So if you didn't have that situation, how would it be?
Peaceful.
Mhm. Yeah. So what peace can you be when you're being peaceful? Where are you being? When are you being? What are you doing that's peaceful? And how can you allow yourself to have that peace in every moment?
I can go into my heart. I'm going into my heart right now, and it's
Yeah,
feeling
and you're
peaceful, but
peaceful right
all
now.
around, everywhere else but my heart is unpeaceful. Like my feet hurt, my arms are tingling, the rest
So
of my body is just uncomfortable.
Focus on your heart, focus on that peace. And as you breathe in that peace, and as you breathe that out into every cell of your body, so that every cell of your body can be at peace.
Is this like a
Are you doing that? Are you doing that?
No.
No. Let's try again. Everybody breathe in peace. And then breathe out peace. As you're breathing out that peace, expanding that peace out into every cell of your being, into your energy field, your body, into your feet, down into the earth, up into the heavens. Being a channel, peace, being peace. So everything is a choice at the end of the day. It's easy as I was saying it, right? And the trick, the mastery is in remembering and to keep choosing, keep being what it is that we're wanting to be, what we're wanting to experience.
Well, I still have to function. I still have to function, and I can't just be in my heart and stand here all day like this. There's other things I have to do.
But the more that you're able to be peaceful within your heart and to actually, integrate that peace through every cell of your being, the easier it is for you to hold that peace, even when, the shit's hitting the fan. Yeah. And, it's a trick. It's like a muscle. It's building that muscle. It's practice. We always want everything straight away. Yes, you can have peace by just going in that moment. You can come back to peace, right? And then can you be at peace when, as in my case, the cat's meowing its head off all the time and I've got work to do and it keeps going across the laptop. And, it's kind of like, how can we have that peace all the time, even with those situations that are going on? Yeah. And that's the question to ask, right? So what peace am I? And how peaceful can I be? Because the more we make it a problem, then we're focusing. So when I first asked you, what you did was you kind of went into your heart, saw the peace, and then you're like, but even I've got this everywhere, and you started focusing then on all the other stuff. So we get what we focus on. We become what we focus on. So this is such a lesson of mastery for all of us collectively right now, with all these things that are going on in the world, right? Such a lesson. And it's like, what's that phrase? The camel going through the eye of the needle. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a phrase like that.
That's kind of what I feel we are doing now. It's like, and it's also to do with it's to do with the oneness, and it's to do with holding that vision and being who we truly be. We're coming into 0 point, and that's what's required to be able to go through and to be kind of feel safe in that storm, right?
So how's that peace now, Destiny?
It's still here.
Awesome. Good.
Go with it.
Keep focusing on it. You don't, like at the beginning, you might think you have to stand still and stop everything, to feel it. But eventually you'll be able to incorporate that into as you're walking, moving, talking, etc. Okay?
Yeah.
So keep doing
Meditation doesn't have to be sitting still. I was driving the other day and I was really, before I went, I was going to go like an hour and a half drive, and I wasn't looking forward to the drive. I was like, oh, it's an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. When I drove, because I've been home for a lot of time, right? And I felt like I was going on a road trip and it was adventure, and I got a bit excited. And then I saw these beautiful canola fields. They were bright yellow and they smell so sweet. And they were like on the left and on the right and in front of me. And then in the rear view mirror, I could see the yellow behind me. And then I started seeing buttercup fields and I was like, oh, and I was kind of like absorbing them, right? And I felt my vibration just was so, I was like sky high when I arrived at my friend's house. And I thought, oh, I need to go and find a canola field or a buttercup field to lie in, right? It's just beautiful. And so it's like everything can be a contribution to us.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I know we want to do a process still.
Yes, I'm aware of the time. But then also it's like all of these things, as we're doing that, we're always creating our future, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if our future self is more peaceful, that's what we're wanting, and so our future self will be more peaceful. It's like we have to practice that peaceful now.
Absolutely.
And she, you know, what would your future self say? Well, I'm not focusing on that, and I'm not doing that. I'm kind of sitting here enjoying the sun and just doing, you know, how peaceful can you be sitting in the sun, and then how peaceful can you be with the rain? It's all what we make it. You know, we're creating it all. And it's really annoying when you hear it, and it's like, oh, like I don't like the rain, right? But I come to actually really love the rain, and I'm like, actually, it's, you know, yeah, it's, I can be happy with the rain.
Yeah, absolutely. Whew, all right. So
Should we do a process?
Yeah, just I think I missed a question. Oops, from Angela. Oops, sorry, Angela. I just saw your name now, and I was like, oh yeah, there was a question from Angela. Can our higher self guide us to stay in a void so that we can deactivate from what we have loved or enjoyed doing in the past, simply to redirect us to a new soul path?
Is that a question or a conclusion?
I don't even know what the question is. Your higher self can guide you. Ask what you want from your higher self. And start choosing what brings you joy. You don't have to stay in old patterns, the same things as before, if they no longer bring you joy, right?
Angela, yeah.
Redirect us to
well,
a new soul
so
path. Go ahead.
Well, so what if you didn't need to go into a void, whatever you decided the void is, but what if you didn't? It's funny when you say that word avoid, I always think it's avoid, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, the higher self can take us into that space of the void, and in the void it's not really emptiness. It can maybe kind of feels like emptiness or aloneness, but it's actually, creation is a void, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like an emptiness that births everything, yeah. So that we can deactivate from what we have loved or enjoyed doing in the past. So it sounds to me as though you're saying this is what's happening, that you feel like you're in a void, and is that your higher self taking you in there to deactivate you and cut you off from everything you've been doing? Possibly, you know, my answer would be to you to ask, connect with your soul, your higher self, and ask, hey, you know, what's the story? What's going on here? And ask the void as well. If you're in the void, speak to the void. Hi, void. What have you got for me? What am I doing here? You know, there's always a gift in something, and often we see it as a challenge or a block. But those, you know, the void might have something amazing for you. A lot of what I used to do in hypnosis, which was a different kind of application of hypnosis, but we would look at, it was kind of like basically like the hero's journey, right? So when you go on a journey and you're wanting to go meet, let's say you want to go meet happiness, right? And on the way you might come across sadness. Mm-hmm. And you have to be present with sadness and see what gift sadness has for you, or what it is that you need to do for sadness, right? What it's teaching you, why it's there, you know. And then because it's like the way through is through. But it can give you the most amazing blessings. So the thing is that when you're doing this in trance, you don't want to wallow in the sadness and whatever. It's like you want to catch yourself in it and clear it, right? And it's like when you be present with it, but see, we're always trying to avoid everything. We want to avoid our negative emotions, our anger. I don't want to be angry, or sometimes we say that, but we actually do because we feel powerful, right? And so it's like getting really present with, so, you know, how is it serving you? You know, what's good about it? Why would you choose it? Yeah. And what's the gift? What's the learning? What is it you take from it? Like a void could be very peaceful. Yeah. Depends. Yeah. It could be different for everybody, right? But it might be peaceful. It might mean you get to avoid doing things. You might just be in the void and you don't have to do all these other things. So it might be teaching you to rest and relax. Or yeah, it could be disconnecting you and you know, redirecting you. a lot of people are having a lot of things shifting and changing, big things, relationships, careers, businesses, all kinds of things, health. And it's kind of like, I've been saying this for like 2 years now, right? It's like I've been in a birthing process for 2 years. It's like, when are we going to birth? But it's kind of like that phoenix, and we're all kind of like birthing like a golden child. That's my what I'm being shown, right? And you know, we think we're nearly there, and then it's like, no, we're still birthing. But sometimes it's not that we are, but it's like the collective is also in that process, right? And so then we might be feeling like we've done more and we're ready to move forward, because often if we're healers and so forth, we might be in the future, and then the collective is lagging a bit behind, perhaps, you know. So there's that process is still ongoing, yeah. And you know, it's not going to happen overnight. Some people will do it, and it's like in waves. The collective are all going through this process. It doesn't all happen at the same time. So you might just be very aware. It's like, how many people are in the void? How many people are not knowing who they are, where they're going next? There's so much disorientation, but it's like we are becoming who we're becoming, right? And so everything is shifting, and it's shifting much faster, and you know, I wonder who we will become.
Awesome, thank you. Great question, Angela. And what about deja vu? Is this connected to past lives?
Yes, can be. Yeah, definitely it can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of these questions, you know, when you take a moment and you kind of go within, or if you journal, you can access this information. If you do meditation, you can access this information. Go in and ask as well, because, you know, so often we ask other people, and that's not a wrongness, right? Because sometimes it can confirm for us. But, you know, it's like you have access to, this is the beauty of these altered states, right? Because it's like we go in and out of these states all the time, but to like consciously go into that altered state, and you can receive so much information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything that shows up could be like a walking meditation.
So empower yourself by asking questions of your higher self, of your soul, of your guides. And, you know, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but anyways, you know, it's like, you know, trust, and then trust what you get. Be open to receiving the information, the guidance, and trust. Let it be whatever it is. Don't try and control what the answer should be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Thank you. All right. So we're going to do a process. Yay. A journey.
Yes.
Journey to connect with our future self, or a future self.
Yeah. How long have we got?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not half an hour, but you know.
Okay. So we're ready?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, take your attention all the way down through the soles of your feet, going deep, deep, deep down into Mother Earth, connecting with the crystal grids of the mineral kingdom, and going deeper and deeper and deeper into the earth, into that beautiful lava, golden flow, the core of the earth. And just allowing all of those energies to gift and contribute to your body, and gifting and contributing love, presence, and giving thanks for Mother Earth, this beautiful planet, and all that's provided for us. Bringing your attention, bringing all of that beautiful, loving, nurturing energy back up through your body, all the way up through the soles of your feet, top of your legs, up through your belly, your hips, your back, your stomach, flowing all the way up. Your shoulders, up into your head. Just imagine that you have a vehicle, let's put it that way, a vehicle, I'm being told. It could be a ball of light, it could be a magic carpet, it could be a space rocket. Now we're going to go to the future, okay? So be aware of what it is that you like to discover in the future. Like, what is it how far into the future you want to go, what it is that you want to know, what it is that you want to experience. And just imagine that as you set that intention, that those coordinates are set. So you can go 5 years, 6 months, you can go 30 years or 100 years. Okay? Just allowing each and every breath that you take to take you deeper and deeper, more and more relaxed, just letting go of anything and everything that doesn't allow you to be at peace, and just allowing yourself to effortlessly journey in this beautiful vehicle, whatever it is, however it is. Just allowing yourself to sense, see, hear, feel all that you see, sense, hear, and feel. Allowing those channels to be opened that you can receive the guidance. I'm going to invite you to count in your head. So just counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Allowing yourself to be in that future, in that time and space that you desire to be in. And allow yourself to notice what you notice. See, hear, feel, and sense. And maybe it's landscape. Notice the air. Notice your physical body. Perhaps you have a light body. Just take a moment to look down where your feet would be. And just notice. And then look. Imagine that you can have a magic mirror and you can look and you can see your body. See who you are in this time and space. And where you are in this time and space. Indoors, outdoors. And who else is around you? What else is around you? So just allowing yourself to get your orientation. Knowing that you have in mind that which you came here for. Just asking for that to be present with you now. Maybe there are people. What is it that you desire to know? What does this time space have to offer you, to gift you? Maybe it's wisdom, insight. Maybe it's an energy or quality, just a knowing. Even if you don't consciously know. Just allowing your awareness to receive whatever it is that is gifted to you now. Knowing that you can maneuver in this time space, so you could move forward a little bit more, see what's happening. And you can kind of fast forward, pause, rewind. Just get a sense of all. Sometimes it's like a little movie. I'm going to give you a few minutes just to allow yourself to experience whatever there is to be experienced in here, knowing that you're safe, that you're protected and guided by your higher self, that your higher self is with you always. Just being curious about all that you see, hear, and feel, asking questions. And if anybody is not seeing, not hearing, just allow yourself to imagine can make it up. Okay, surprising what happens when you make things up. And as you allow it to progress, it will become more real. Asking questions, being curious. And you might want to look back in time from this place that you are in the future. See how you got here. See what happened. Remembering, if you need any assistance, you can ask your higher self to support you. Just allowing yourself to receive the next minute or two all that you require to receive. You might want to ask if there's a gift or something. Some of you are being shown and being given gifts. You might have symbols. In a moment, I'm going to invite you to either integrate all of those insights, the wisdom, any energies or qualities that you want to integrate into your physical body into 2021. Then if you don't feel to integrate anything, that's fine too. So giving thanks for this connection, this experience through time, space, dimension, and reality. And knowing that you are always connected with all that is. That you can go anywhere, be anywhere. That you can return to this place or another place, space. Receive more information, more guidance, wisdom. You can connect with your future self at any time. And so just for now, saying your thank yous and your goodbyes, finding yourself back in that beautiful vehicle that transported you through time and space. Coming back in that vehicle. Coming back into 2021. Becoming aware of your physical body, the room that you're in. Your fingers, your toes, your feet. Just giving them a little wiggle. When you're ready, opening your eyes and coming back wide awake, refreshed, alert, and remembering all that you need to remember.
That was awesome. I loved it. Oh my God, that was so much fun. I didn't know where I was gonna go, what was gonna happen, but it was totally, I loved it. It was like, wow, thank you.
Where did you end up?
I saw myself on a ship in the Mediterranean, going somewhere to an island. It's like, wow, was not expecting that at all.
Interesting.
Yeah, so much fun. It's like, oh, nice. Yeah. And then I, saw a whole thing there, and then I asked questions, how did I get here, and I got some answers about that too. So it's like, okay, cool. Thank you. I got a gift. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, so how was it for everybody else? What did you experience? Did you allow yourself to just go with the flow and meet your future self? And, and I know sometimes we don't see or hear or feel, but you can imagine. And as you're imagining, you're actually creating, right? So it was wonderful. It was like, wow, I was not expecting that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, next time we should do the experience before we do the questions, I think.
Yeah, that'll be good.
If anyone's got any questions, or if anybody wants to comment, put something in the chat or unmute quickly. I know we're being mindful with time.
Yeah, let us know how that was for you and what did you experience. Caroline, go ahead.
So I'm not going to put myself on camera because I'm just crying, but that's what it brought up for me. I didn't really see anything. I saw, well, no, I did. I kind of cut myself off when you said, if nothing's coming, imagine it. And that's when I cut myself off. that I don't want to put anything in there that I'm imagining, and it's that same, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
So then I just started getting sad, and now I'm crying. So.
Oh, that's okay. Don't apologize. Yeah. So it sounds as though there's kind of a release going on for you, right? And I get the whole thing about when you're not seeing. So two things. One is that sometimes we can get triggered by the imagination, because a lot of the time we've kind of been brought up and told that it's just a figure of our imagination, that we shouldn't imagine things. We're making things up. It's kind of like we're lying, and it's not real. But our imagination is kind of like what comes is like the preview of clairvoyance, right? And if you don't see, it may be that you get a feeling, or it may be that your body is absorbing something anyway, right? And you have, it will come to you at another point. But yeah, it's like your imagination. It's like I'll give you an example. I can be like that, right? And it's like, I remember having a regression, and I was really, really surprised. In that I kind of thought, oh, this was kind of a bit interesting, it's not a bit boring and blah blah blah. And then it was all of a sudden I went from one thing, which is like a past life thing, into like a more of a galactic thing, right? And that person asked me the name of these guides or these aspects that had showed up. Now, before I would have said, don't ask me the name if I'm channeling or whatever, because it's not that important, right? And also because I partly don't want to be wrong, or people think I'm making it up. They ask a name and they get into all my stuff, right? But these two names just popped out. But it's kind of like, when you give yourself permission to imagine, you actually start the ball rolling, and you allow yourself to start seeing things, and it can suddenly change. Like Lara was saying, you probably didn't have a plan on where you're going, right?
Yep.
But it's like it can change. So never give yourself permission to use your imagination, because it's such a beautiful gift, and it is part of our manifesting and creating. It's our vision. Our imagination is a gift.
I think Caroline might have gone into, if I'm imagining, it's just my mind, my ego making it up, and it's not me getting information from my future self.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think maybe she didn't want to be disappointed, by that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point
And
when,
and it also might be like a younger part of ourselves, because it's like, as children, we have these gifts and abilities, right? And then we just get told off for them. You're off with the fairies, there's nothing there, or, don't be so silly, you're just imagining it,
Yeah.
But it's such a gift and such a joy. So imagination, I can look at a flower and I can fly with a bumblebee into the flower and then come up somewhere in the water, or do you know what I mean? So yeah, that would be so beautiful to reconnect with that.
I would definitely do the process again for all of you who are here. Definitely do it again, because it was like, you might get something totally different. Like, I did have the intention of, okay, in 5 years from now, or I said, when I'm 60, that was the extent of it. I didn't have any other input into that. So for me, it was like cool. It was cool. It was positive. It was cool. It was so I'm not going into judgment of, oh my God, but how am I going to create that now? Or oh my God, like, is that really going to come true? Or, I'm not going into that. And for me, I'm like, oh my God, that was so wonderful to see and to experience. And I'm integrating all that energy within me, receiving the gifts. And it's like, okay, what would it take for me to, if I like that, to create that now? I mean, I asked my future self, how did I get there? And I saw the steps. It's like, okay, cool. So now it's like, all right, do I really want this? Would this be fun for me? Then it's like, okay, if so, then it's like, all right, then let's get crack-a-lackin'. But did you, like, for myself, did I like who I was being as my future self, right? Did I like what I was creating? Did I like what I was experiencing? Yes, right? So then, of course, then yes, I want to create that. If it wasn't, then I'd be like, nope. Nope, let's choose something different, right? So we have choice as to what we want to create.
Yeah. And some people might go, like 100 years into the future. I've kind of worked with a lot of people. Some people have ended up being in spacesuits,
Yeah.
So we're not in this dimension and so forth. And you can use it as I say, to make choices, you know. And when people ask about, you know, their future, and it's like, well, if you carry on this path, here's what the future looks like. But if you make a different choice tomorrow, it will look completely different. So it's entirely up to you. And when you go into it, if you don't like it, you know that you can change it because it's not laid in stone. Absolutely. Normally we would obviously do this a little bit longer. We kind of are running out of time really. But and also there's a difference in doing it in a group and doing it one-to-one, right? But you can do this for yourself.
I love this what Irania just posted because it did feel like Greece actually. Maybe my dreaming of renting a house on Skopelos, which is an island in Greece, which I don't know Skopelos, I'll be honest. I'm saying it right. My daughter's project and small business right now. Maybe, right? Because it's like I got the energy of that it was Greece, but I've never been to Greece. I've never, I don't know. But it was interesting.
Beautiful.
So it's in 6 years, okay?
See how much traveling we could do.
Yeah, that was fun. Good, awesome.
Oh, good.
All right, so I just want to take a few minutes because we haven't talked about your package yet and etc. So okay. The package that Kimberley has for us is available at alara.at/show/Kimberley6. And really the package is a personal one-to-one 60-minute session with Kimberley. I've also shared on the page her live online quantum hypnotherapy training, which is happening at the end of this month. Just for your information, if you're interested in it, and you can find out more information, etc. So let's talk a little bit about the personal session, what that looks like, and then Kimberley, if you want to talk a little bit about the training as well, that'd be great.
Sure. Okay. That sounds great. Who was it said it? Delilah went to a park setting. Yeah. Nice. Planning a trip with your son. Wonderful. You can, when you go into the future, you can see kind of like what the weather's going to be like, right? So whether you need to pack an umbrella or whether you need to pack jumpers, or if I'd have used it when I went flying one time, I'd have known that I was going to miss my connecting flight. That would have been useful, but I didn't think to go and have a look and make sure that I got on the plane. So there's a little tip for you there. Okay, so yeah, the package. So basically it's a 60-minute session with me, and it is, whatever you want it to be, right? It's I'm known for rapid transformation, and it can be with using any of the tools. Sometimes people particularly want, one or the other, or whatever it is that you require for your outcome, what you want to get out of the session. So I've left it kind of, if you want to do a quantum hypnotherapy session, if you want to do theta or access or mix and match, if you're looking to create something or clear something, whatever it is, then I'm happy to work with you, whether it's health or business or whatever.
Awesome. So that's the package. Is a personal session. So is there a long wait time for people to book their sessions with you, Kimberley?
No, I mean, depending on time zones, there's usually some, couple of slots. So have a look, and if there's something that you don't see, then you can always drop me an email.
Yeah, awesome, cool. So that's available for $197. And then the live online quantum hypnotherapy training. Let's just talk a little bit about that, because I know this is something that you're really passionate about, and looks like a lot of fun and lots of training, and really empowering for people to take for themselves. And then can they also work with clients with this as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm super excited. So I've been teaching hypnotherapy for 15 years or more. Maybe it's 17 years, something like that, I've been teaching it. And I was taught it face to face. So this is the first time that I'm actually teaching the class online. So I'm really excited about that. Hypnosis works beautifully online. It can be for your own personal journey. If you want to have this experience, there's going to be lots of, we're looking at past life regression. We're looking at life between lives. We're looking at future lives. We're looking at healing with the subconscious. So working with illnesses and diseases, clearing spirits attachments. So we're kind of doing spirit release. And is there anything that I haven't mentioned? I think so. I think I've said the different modules. So you might have some experience or no experience. That's fine. So it's 4 days live training. online, and that will be in kind of like a Zoom situation, but in breakout rooms. So you will get to have some training, demonstration. You'll also get to do sessions on one another during those days. And then there's also kind of like 40 hours of video, audio, transcripts of sessions that you will be able to, you know, look through at your leisure. And there's going to be some group supervision, Facebook group, so you have lots of support. And then you'll do like a maybe 4 case studies, something like that, of those different processes, so that you'll kind of feel more confident with them as well. And then you will receive a certification, so you can actually use this and you can work with clients if you want to, and you can work online. So that's kind of like amazing to be able to. I'm super excited.
Yeah, and I think the part about being able to work online, because that's still going to be a thing, you know.
Yeah, and you will be able to work in person as well. But you know, I think for a long time I had a private practice and it was all in person. And then when we went to Australia, and I carried on working with some clients while I was in Australia, so we worked online, and I was kind of like, you know, it works just as well online. And so yeah, it's very amazing.
Yeah, awesome, good. So that is at the end of June, and you can just click on the link to get more info and to register if you want to know more. Or
yeah, reach out and ask me any questions if you've got any questions around it. Happy to talk with you.
Awesome, good. And all right, so I'm just seeing if there's anything else that we missed, but I don't think so. I mean, we talked about so much stuff today. It was awesome, and I love that journey. That was so much fun. Oh my God, I got to do it again and see what else comes up. So it is possible for you to receive insights, information, wisdom that you can then take action on, because it's like just receiving the information is not enough. You still need to take action on if it's something that you want to actually embody and create, right? So that's one potentiality, right? One probability of a future self, you know, life, right? So what else is possible, I wonder? Okay, so that was just one possibility, but it was, so be willing to allow yourself to be open to what else, right? What else, what does my soul want to experience, right?
You could ask for your highest, greatest future timeline, right? Or if, like I say, if you've got a specific thing that you're working with or you want to clear or change, then you ask to go to that, you know, the future you that doesn't have that, right? That's already resolved that. Yeah. So there's that. The other thing that I was thinking is that there in the free gift, I think I put the meditations down, didn't I? So there are some meditations that I think, you know, if you sign up for those, you'll really enjoy. So there's a chakra balance meditation, which is working with or playing with the mermaids, the dolphins, and some pearls. But it's a chakra balance. And then there's another one. Did I name which ones they were on there? Is there Journey to Peace Through Forgiveness?
I forget.
There's Journey to Peace Through Forgiveness, I think, is on there, which is a beautiful process where you kind of go and we work with the trees and you meet other people that you might need to forgive, and including yourself. And then there's some abundance meditations on there, 3 or 4 mini ones. You know, sometimes the meditations might be half an hour, 20 minutes, or a little bit longer. And then these abundance ones are just 10 minutes, so you can do them very simply. You know, you can just do them in the morning or in the evening or whatever.
Yeah, I like short ones. I mean, like I have some meditations, you know, from people, and they're like an hour. I'm like, I don't have an hour. I don't have an hour, you know?
Yeah.
So 20 minutes, yeah, sure. But an hour I don't have, you know, it's like, hello, I'm busy.
Yeah.
So good, awesome, thank you. Yeah, I did download them, but I haven't, you know, looked at them yet. So I don't know what they were exactly, but
okay,
there's some there.
Cool. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
good.
They are on the gifts page for those of you who, you know, I mean, if you get the emails, the link for the gift page is right there. So please click on that and see all the different gifts from Kimberly and everybody else as well. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Whew, 2 hours. I can't believe it. This was great. Thank you so much, Kimberly. And thank you everybody for all your questions.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing to have everybody on. That's great. And the question's great because, you know, when you ask a question for you and we speak to that, it's, you know, everybody else and the people that are listening after us as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great question.
Wonderful question. So thank you. And yeah, Kimberley, it was so wonderful. Thank you so much again for being on the show, coming back to us. And the process was beautiful, like I said. And, you know, next time I do it, who knows? Maybe it won't be beautiful. Maybe it'll be a different future that I'm going to see. Who knows, right? But this one I liked. I really liked. So I'm gonna go with it. But it was a wonderful short process that you can do again and again and again. So please do go back and watch the video or listen to the podcast and do it again for yourself, right? And if you'd like to work with Kimberley, again, you know, book that one-to-one session with Kimberley. Or, you know, if you want to do training for the quantum hypnotherapy, that's available as well at the end of June. Okay, so that again is available at alara.at/show/Kimberley6. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And
you are very welcome. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Until next time, everyone, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.